Hey everybody, Steve here in Palm Springs. I don't know if you can see the sign here that says Little Tuscany Estates. I'm going to walk up to this neighborhood here. This is where Elvis used to live, one of his homes here in Palm Springs. This is the one that he owned for the longest amount of time, and he lived here. In fact, the other two I think were just rentals. This one he owned for 7 years, and he still owned it when he died in 1977. So let's go walk up in this neighborhood. It's a little bit hilly. I haven't done too many walks in hilly areas since I had my heart issues about 1.5 years ago, so we'll see if I can make it up the hill. If not, I may not make it that far, and we'll just see how far I can go today. And while I'm walking and talking, I'll show you some of the homes along the way. The overall neighborhood is called Little Tuscany, and this is the neighborhood where my grandparents used to live. They used to live, I'll show you kind of where they live once we get up to Elvis's house. They didn't live in this particular circle here. This is like, I think it's like Panorama Circle or something. So this house right here, this was Elvis's former Palm Springs home for 7 years, and also it was owned by, I think it was after Elvis lived here, it was purchased by Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. Looks like they might be remodeling or something. Got some plywood along back here, which is kind of interesting. This is like, oh wait, no, this is not the one. It looks similar, but this isn't the house. Elvis's house is 1 or 2 up here. Sorry. It's been a while since I've walked up here. So yeah, let's see if I can get up here without being too out of breath. And oh yeah, for those of you who are always saying when I'm out on my walk, you know, it sounds like I'm dying because I'm so out of breath and I'm wheezing a lot. Well, it's a couple reasons. One is because I'm going uphill often, like today I'm walking up a hill, so that does make you kind of out of breath, even if you're young and in perfect health. And then there's also the fact that I have really, really bad allergies, so it makes it hard for me to breathe. Even when I'm not walking, when I'm just standing, I wheeze a lot when I'm suffering from allergies, and this time of year is the worst for me for allergies, the fall. So, and then the other thing is that I've got the camera, I don't know if you can see it, but when I'm speaking, the microphone's right here, and my mouth is just a few inches away from the microphone. So when I'm wheezing and breathing heavily, like now, you can hear it a lot more because my face is usually really close to the microphone, especially if I turn it around like this, and I've got the camera like right by my face. I'm just like a few inches away. So it amplifies my heavy breathing and wheezing and things. So morning. So that's why it sounds especially bad when I'm oh, look at this. This is an interesting walkway, and you can see the beautiful views from here. That's really a nice path there. Now, I always, like I said in past videos, I usually like to walk toward traffic, but there's not a lot of traffic up here. But I've also mentioned to all of you, I just love these homes with the boulders, you know, surrounding the homes, sometimes inside the homes here in Palm Springs. I just think it's so cool. It's so different. You don't find that in a lot of other places in the world, I don't think. I don't see it very often. So and I guess I just loved it because as a kid, my grandparents lived in this neighborhood that was full of boulders, and as kids we would just climb and run and jump and chase lizards all over the boulders. It was so much fun, and I just thought it was so unique because the neighborhood where we lived in a suburb of LA, nobody had boulders in their yards. They were just, you know, flat lawns with grasses. Well, what happened to Elvis's? Well, it has been a long time since I've been up here because his house is right up there. I wasn't even close. So, all right. I'm getting very forgetful in my old age, I guess. I was thinking it was way back down at the beginning. So this is a nice mid-century modern home. It looks like it's being remodeled or renovated. Getting ready to paint it or something. That looks nice. And this is Elvis's former home right next door. And my grandparents, they used to live right over there where you see those palm trees and the houses there. They lived just about 4 doors down from the end home, that direction. So you could look from the end of their street over here to see Elvis's house, and he was living here at the same time that my grandparents were living there. Well, my grandfather, I think he died in the early 70s. I think he was probably there for a year or so when Elvis was living here, but my grandmother died in 1978. So she lived just a little bit longer than Elvis. So she was living here the entire time that he was living here. And they were neighbors, kind of. This area here, this entire neighborhood is the same neighborhood. It's the Little Tuscany neighborhood. Back then, I think this was called like Little Chino Canyon. I think it was Chino Canyon. They've changed the name a couple of times. So this was his former home here. And years after he died, someone bought it and turned it into a tourist attraction, and they gave tours. And I took a tour of the interior. I should go back and see if I can find those videos. I mean, they were really, really rough videos, even long before YouTube. So I never posted them anywhere. But we took a tour inside, and it kind of is a horseshoe design, and in the middle, the very middle, is a swimming pool, and then behind it is an empty lot that he also owned, and then you can just have beautiful views of downtown Palm Springs. So it's a really, really very cool house. I don't know now if it's just owned by an individual or if it's maybe a vacation rental. Some of you might know. I guess you could check online. As I say, when I go on these walks, I don't want to do any homework. I don't want to do any research. I don't want to do any advanced planning. I just want to go for a walk and see what I see and show you whatever I happen to see and just have fun and enjoy. Well, that brings me back to what I wanted to talk about on this particular video, my topic of this video, other than just my walk around this particular neighborhood. I wanted to talk about, well, just what I started to say. Last week I posted a video of my walk around Uncle Charlie's house. Uncle Charlie from My Three Sons, the TV show My Three Sons. William Demarest was the actor, and he lived here in South Palm Springs. We're kind of more in the northern end of Palm Springs here. He lived in the southern end of Palm Springs, and in that video, I think it was around almost a half-hour video, or maybe I think it was over a 30-minute video. And when I edit my videos, on my software, it's on my laptop, and the video editing equipment or software has so many things on it that everything's really, really tiny. So I have to wear my glasses, and sometimes I even have to bring out my magnifying glass to see what I'm editing because it's so tiny on the screen. So sometimes I miss things, especially if I'm typing something in. Well, on that particular video, I typed in Walt Disney because there's a lot of people on this street this morning for some reason. Now, this is, I guess, a little cul-de-sac right in the middle of this overall circle where I'm walking. So I'm not going to walk down there today. I'm just going to keep walking around the circle here. So I typed in some of the other people who own homes in William Demarest's neighborhood, and they included Walt Disney and Don Adams and Chuck Connors. And when I typed in Walt Disney, I guess I typed in walk, like walking, and with a K instead of Walt. And when you edit a video, I mean, it takes sometimes hours to edit a video, and then after you're done, you have to process it, which kind of puts all the pieces together. That can take a half hour to process. Then once it's all one piece, then you upload to YouTube, and that can take, for a half-hour video, it might take an hour or two to upload, depending on the speed of your connection. And so you're looking at a couple, 2-3 hours at least to put together a video, edit it, and upload it, not including the filming of it. And look at these nice views from up here. This was the view my grandparents had, and my grandfather used to sit on the patio watching the planes take off from the airport, and well, we sat there with him watching all the time. It was really fun. Oh, so then after you upload it, after all that time to upload it, then I always watch the video just to make sure that it doesn't have any glitches or mistakes, or that anything's wrong with it, and I have to redo it, because quite often I do. I find, because then I can see it on large. I can enlarge it. Look how pretty this is. Yeah, I can watch it and see it large for the first time instead of just seeing it really tiny on my phone or seeing it in the editing software. Hello.
Good morning.
Morning. And so that's when I usually will catch any mistakes. So when I was watching it on YouTube, before I make it live, before anyone else can see it, I noticed that I'd spelled Walt Disney incorrectly with a K instead of a T. Boy, that's a really pretty home. Looks like a newer home. And so I had to make the decision, should I delete the video, go back to the editing process, change it to a T from a K, and then go through the whole 2, 3, 4 hour process to process and upload the video. And all right, so we're at Chino Canyon Road and Panorama Road. So this dead ends up here, and I'm just gonna go this way. It's just one big circle. So I did make it to the top, well, almost the top, I guess. If I really wanted to go to the top, I'd go over there. And those homes that you see up there, those are the homes that are newer. They were just all custom homes that have just been recently built. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna go up. I've never been up to the end of this street. Let me just go up here while I finish talking about this. So I just had to make the decision on this one to not correct the video, not spend 3 to 4 hours correcting the spelling of Walt Disney. I figure everyone knows how Walt Disney's name is spelled. I figure everyone would know that it was just a typo, and it wasn't a critical typo. The ones where I will actually redo the video and take the 2, 3, 4 hours to redo it, those are the videos that the information is something really like critical. It's critical that I put in the wrong information that actually just needs to be changed. For whatever it is, it's just something I feel it really does need to be changed. I have completely the wrong name of something, or the wrong address, or the wrong whatever. So in those cases, I will go back and spend the hours of time to redo those videos. But in this case, I thought, it's not worth it just to correct the spelling of his name. So the reason I'm mentioning this is, the older I get, I've mentioned this before, I just want to keep things really simple and easy. And the other thing is, most people never watch more than half the video. Well, this typo was more than halfway through the video, so I figured most people are never going to see it anyway. So only half the people are going to get that far to see the mistake, and then of the people who watch it, a lot of times people are doing other things and only listening and not really paying attention, so they're not going to notice it either. Oh, this is a really cute mailbox with license plates. I've never seen one like that before. Isn't that fun? Very creative. We have a lot of creative mailboxes here in Palm Springs. It's beautiful to have the mountains right behind you like that as your backyard. So the reason I wanted to come up here was just to see how close we could get to these homes in this new neighborhood where I walked about a year or so ago. But I didn't walk by these homes here. So what else was I going to say? There was something else I was going to say about that. Oh, I guess I was going to talk about perfectionism. You know, I've never been a perfectionist. I mean, I try. I mean, I do make an effort. I do make a very concerted effort. I'm probably more of a perfectionist than most people. And I do try to make sure everything is correct and accurate in my videos, but I'm more of a big picture person rather than a detail-oriented person. There are some people that little typo would drive them absolutely crazy, and it kind of does drive me crazy a little bit, but not crazy enough to spend another 4 hours to redo it just to correct that typo. Where some people would do it, they would correct it no matter what, no matter how long it took them to do. Okay, so let's see, what does this say? Welcome to Desert Palisades in the Chino Canyon, the Chino Cone Alluvial Fan. All right, feel free to pause the video if you want to read this yourself. I'm not going to read it, I guess. Are we here? Without my glasses, I can't see if that's the name of the street, but I think that's it. And I think when I walked before, I walked up here, and then I walked into there, and then I walked back. I didn't walk all the way around. So, oh, it looks like, hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good. Did you walk the whole way around?
Yes.
You did? How long did it take? Do you know?
I didn't. I wasn't.
Did you notice? So is this where we are right now?
Yes.
And you walked all the way around and then back?
No.
How far did you go?
Well, I live down here, so basically I came up Racket Club.
Oh, okay, Racket Club, yeah.
And then, which is basically what this right-of-way is.
Yeah.
It takes you to the tram road.
Yeah.
And then you walk back down here. So I would say probably 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, I walked up here like last year. I walked up there.
Yeah.
Then I just kind of went here and then I turned around. I was just wondering how long it would take to go the entire way. And I think when I was walking here, I don't remember that white house being there. I mean, it might have been. I mean...
no, that's new.
Oh, it is? Okay, so maybe they had just started building or something, because I don't... Or maybe I didn't see it from where I was.
Right. Yeah, no, you wouldn't see it from the other side.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm not walking on their roads anymore. I mean, their posting is painful, so there's no way I can claim ignorance.
Oh.
So, I'm not going to...
So they don't want you walking on the streets? They want you just staying on the trail? They're okay with that, right?
These right-of-ways, these are old right-of-ways.
Yeah.
And this is Chino Canyon Road, which is very old.
Yeah.
But I mean, all of this stuff, because I sort of like to watch the progress of the construction and development and whatnot.
But then they might kind of like kick you off if you do, huh?
They'd be within their rights.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. I'm just making this little video of my walk. And
okay, very good. Yeah.
I remember I walked here when there were no houses at all. They had just graded, they put in the streets, but there were no houses.
That must have been like 10 years,
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah. So it's kind of neat to see the houses now.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one of these days I'll take a walk. I just had some heart issues about a year ago, so I'm a little reluctant to be walking out in the middle of nowhere here by myself, so I'll probably have to wait until I go with somebody, Do you ever think about that? Have you ever had any issues, health issues?
No, well, no, fortunately not.
And hopefully you have your cell phone with you.
Yeah.
In case I think the reception here is good.
Oh,
I used to walk up to the tram, the bottom tram station, and my cell phone worked the whole way. So I figured this probably is covered too.
Great here.
Yeah. Well, I guess the houses, they would need it, to be able to have.
Well, you just have clear access to the towers wherever you are.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks. I appreciate you sharing that.
I mean,
yeah.
Because when I talked to one guy working on this house like a year or two ago, he said, these houses must go for $10 million.
I'm sure, at least, yeah.
Because by the time because there's so much site preparation, so many rocks has got to be moved. It takes a year.
Well, I think when they were first being built, I think they said the lots themselves were selling for about $1 million.
Right.
So if you're going to spend $1 million just for the lot, I'm sure a $10 million house is probably not that big a deal. It's all of these are just such a beautiful neighborhood.
Right.
The older part and the newer part.
Right.
Do you know if anybody's living in the Elvis house now? Looked like somebody was there now, like cars are there. So the one right here. Yeah.
So
I thought maybe it was a vacation rental or something.
Well, maybe. I mean, there was a film that there was a crew there for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And there was, then the place was filled, and cars all over.
I bet they use it. I bet it's a rental. Or
Yeah.
maybe for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember that there was an owner there. Probably this was 10, 15 years ago, and he gave tours of the interior.
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, and we did that a couple of times. It was beautiful inside. Well, not beautiful, but it was interesting to see because it was almost like in the original condition when Elvis had lived there. The kitchen was exactly the same, hadn't remodeled anything. So it was pretty cool.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's when they had the little silhouette of Elvis on the fireplace. Did you ever see that?
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's a postcard. If you go online and just Google Elvis's Palm Springs home, that'll pop up, and you'll see that house, and you'll see Elvis's silhouette portrait on the fireplace
Right.
facing the street, and that's when that guy lived there.
Well, I understand that like a year ago there was like 2 women with southern accents, and it was like they were making a pilgrimage here.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Yeah, yeah. And they said that he had his last birthday here.
Okay. Yeah, because he owned this house when he died.
Yeah.
I mean, he was obviously in Graceland at the time, but he still owned this house.
Well, yeah, probably came in the winter.
Yeah, he loved it here for like 7 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Neat.
And then his honeymoon spot was sort of like behind it.
Yeah, that's just about half a mile away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was only there for a year, so
Right.
that's what's kind of cool about this one, that he actually owned it and lived there for 7 years.
Right. Well, I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah, he owned it for 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah, where the honeymoon, they just rented that for a year.
Yeah, yeah.
And then before that, they owned a home down at the bottom of the hill, or not owned it, but they rented there. And
I
then,
didn't know that. I knew the 2 places.
yeah, that one doesn't get a lot of promotion, but there was the Desert Sun years ago did an article about it and showed it and talked about that was his first rental. That was where he first lived when he was first down here, and then I guess he loved it and did the whole honeymoon thing, and then really loved it and decided to buy a place.
Right.
So yeah, so that I think was Zsa Zsa Gabor's mom lived there.
Oh, no kidding.
Either that or Magda Gabor, her sister, the not so famous sister, but
Right.
Jolie Gabor, I think, is the mom. So she lived up there. Yeah, I think this White House, I've never seen that before. That must be new or
No, it's
totally
not- it's
remodeled.
not new.
Did they just
Because-
remodel it?
Probably.
I might go walk up there and look at that boulder. I mean, that's a pretty big boulder. Yeah, I'm gonna walk up there and see.
All right.
Just out of curiosity. Yeah, I just like to explore. Kind of like when I was a kid, but then I didn't have a camera. I was just walking with my grandfather and hiking up over all these boulders here, catching lizards mostly. All right, so I'm going to walk up here. I don't think I'm going to walk all the way to the end, but I want to go see this boulder here in front of this home. The guy that I was just talking to, very nice guy, he lives in this neighborhood somewhere, and he said he moved here from Boston because of all the snow and the cold. And I think he's pretty typical. I think most people move here from snowy areas once they've just had enough of the snow. He says that they just leave in the summer because he doesn't like the 120 degree heat that we get sometimes in the summer, where I love it. I'm used to it. Growing up down here, my grandparents, in the summer, we were here every summer, and I loved the heat. So I think if you grow up in the heat, you get used to it. But if you come here as an adult, you might not be able to get used to that kind of heat in the summer. Summer is actually my favorite time here in the desert. Although this is a really nice time too. This is my favorite time for walking. It's too hot to walk when it's 120 degrees. But right now it's probably about 65 or so, maybe 70. In the direct sun like I am, it feels like it's around 80 degrees. It feels really nice. But it feels really warm. I think this home here is an historic home. I think it was called the Ennis home. I think that's it. I don't know, maybe I'll walk up there and see if it's got a plaque. I mean, it should. It's a very famous mid-century modern home. I think that's the one. Alright, so look at this big boulder right in front of the front yard, or is it the backyard? I don't know, of that home. That is really cool. Alright, let me go ahead and keep going. I'm not feeling too out of breath today. Wasn't sure if I would be able to make it all the way up the hill here, but so far so good. I feel fine. Would you want a big, gigantic boulder like that in your front yard? I definitely would. That is so neat. We were just joking that I wouldn't want to be too close to the mountain there. I mean, look at that big boulder right there. I mean, if that came tumbling down, that could, I don't know, if your house was below, that would not be good. It could end up in your bedroom, or your, like this guy was saying, in your swimming pool. I said, well, I'd rather it be in the swimming pool than in my bedroom. Although, not if I was swimming. Interesting sculptures. A little sculpture garden here. Well, you know, so close. Maybe I'll go up and see if the Gabors have a plaque on there at the front, in the front of their home as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is, I think it's called the Ennis house. Oh, is this the plaque here? Oh, Edris. Okay, what am I thinking? Ennis. Edris house. Built between 1953 and 54. E. Stewart Williams, he's the architect who built Frank Sinatra's home here in Palm Springs. Commissioned by Marjorie and William Edris. I don't remember exactly, but I think maybe they were, I forget what they were like business owners, or actually I can't remember what it is that they were famous for. All right, let's just go to the end of the block here. It's a cul-de-sac. I don't see a historic plaque here or a celebrity home plaque, but every guidebook that I've read over the years says this was the farmer home. Pretty sure it was this one. I guess it could be that one, but I'm pretty sure the photos that they always use is this house. That it was either Zsa Gabor's and Ava Gabor's mom or sister who owned this home here. Can't really see much. Looks like they're doing some remodeling. Oh yeah, it looks like they're really doing a major remodel. And there's a pool here in the front. So the pool overlooks the desert, although with these big hedges here, I wonder if you could see much anymore. And they lived here back in the 1960s. Probably until the time they died. Was that like I think in the 70s, maybe 80s, I don't remember. Like I started to say, I think earlier, is I don't really like to do any research or advanced planning on these walks. I just like to see what I see and share what I happen to remember, which is less and less all the time. And the older I get, I mean, it's funny, some things you remember really well, others, you know, other things just kind of come and go. Yeah, so that's the Edris house. They give tours all the time of this house during Modernism Week. It's a very, very famous house, mid-century modern designed home, with a very famous architect who's buried in the cemetery in downtown Palm Springs that I've visited before. I'll be visiting again. Coming up at Christmas, I visit Hugh and Maureen Young, who lived in Frank Sinatra's home. They bought it from him when he moved. So they bought the house, the famous Frank Sinatra home, Twin Palms house in Palm Springs, that was built by the same architect who built this house here. Small world, huh? Well, in Palm Springs for sure. And there really were only like a handful, maybe half a dozen to a dozen famous architects here in Palm Springs back during the mid-century, when they were building all these really beautiful mid-century modern homes, which at the time were just new homes, but a totally different style, a new style, a very modern style compared to homes that you see in other parts of the country. Now on my way up the hill, I saw a plaque on another house right at the bottom of this street at the corner. So hopefully I'll remember to take a look and see what that plaque says, if that's a celebrity home, or I just love the look of cactus with the sun shining on the other side. Isn't that pretty? Definitely don't want to touch that. That's very, very, very painful if you do. I've never been to the Tuscany area of Italy. I've been to Italy, but just to Rome and some of the larger cities, Florence, and I've never been to the Tuscany area, or that I remember. Maybe we drove through on a tour on the way to Florence from Rome. I don't know if it's that direction or the other direction, but I was told that this neighborhood was named Little Tuscany because it looks a lot like the Tuscany area in Italy. So I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if there are boulders like this. If it's in, I don't think there's a desert in Tuscany. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there is. I think it was this house here. Definitely looks like a mid-century modern home. More boulders, very desert landscaped here. Very naturally desert landscaped. So where was that plaque? I think it was right here. I just happened to catch it out of the corner of my eye, and I thought I would just stop on the way back. Okay, so this property has been listed. Let's see if I can get close enough so you can read it. In the National Register of Historical Places by the United States Department of the Interior, Dr. Alexander, residence, 1955. Go ahead and pause the video if you want to read the smaller type there. And then to the right it says the Franz Alexander residence. Expressionistic Organic Architecture, Walter S. White, architect. Franz Alexander was dubbed the father of American psychoanalysis. Was second only to Sigmund Freud in terms of his contribution to the profession. White, who interned with Frank Lloyd Wright at Tellison West, used cambered steel beams to create the home's upswept roof line. Raised on angled steel columns, the home appears to almost hover above the boulder-strewn hillside site. Interesting. All right, let's see if we can get a look from this view. Boy, this reminds me a lot of the Elvis Presley home, too. Oh yeah, look at that, how cool. And I'm guessing the swimming pool is right there with a view of the mountains. Although it looks like they're blocking a lot of their view with a hedge. I wonder why. Yeah, isn't that pretty? Definitely looks 1950s. 1960s mid-century style. So this home I wasn't aware of. I mean, I've walked by here before and I've seen it. I wasn't aware that it was an historic home. That plaque must be fairly new, although it's probably been, gosh, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years since. This is called the Bricks Estate. Now, it's funny because someone the other day said, I walked by, where did I walk by? Oh, the newer 55 plus Aloe community on Palm Canyon Drive, and someone was saying it would have been so much nicer if they had left the brick unpainted. And I think I said in a comment, I said, well, we don't have brick homes here in the desert, and here's one now. So we don't have very many brick homes in the desert. It's just not the style of the desert. Mostly they're either Spanish, 1920s, 30s Spanish, adobe kind of homes, or mid-century modern. Those are the two. And newer homes are more Mediterranean. But you don't find too many bricks. But look, here's another one with bricks. So probably the people living in these brick homes, probably, or if they were brick homes, yeah, look at all this brick. Wow, looks like we're in Boston or something, not in Palm Springs. See, now that home there, that has bricks, but they're painted, but they weren't red bricks like this. They were just, they might have actually been that beige color to begin with. So they're definitely remodeling this home. Yeah, to me, bricks really look out of place here in the desert. They just look like they belong in on the East Coast. Definitely not in the desert. But I think it's just because there weren't very many. In fact, I didn't think there were any. But apparently there are a couple. Okay, so I was talking earlier about the back of Elvis Presley's home here, former home. So this is the lot behind his home. So I think I was told at the time that his home was, you know, that's the lot his home is on, but then he also bought this lot behind, so nobody could be behind him. So you'd have unobstructed views of the desert, which from right here you can't really see much, but from the pool. So I don't know if you can see, it's kind of a horseshoe-shaped house. Right in the middle is a pool. And from that pool, you can see the airport, you can see all of downtown. It's really, really beautiful. They've got some kind of a white, I don't know, is it a block wall or some kind of a wall there to the left that I don't think was there before. I don't remember that. Maybe again just for privacy, but there's still enough space there where the pool is where you can see the entire view. Now, stone homes are actually pretty common here, and stone walls are very common, as I've mentioned before. I just love these stone walls. Many of them are in neighborhoods like this where there are a lot of boulders, but some are just in neighborhoods where there are no boulders. It's just a really cool look. I think it mostly went with the Spanish style homes back in the 20s and 30s. It was probably just an easy way to create a stone wall or a brick, a block wall. Yeah, so that's the back of the Elvis home, the former Elvis home. I would guess. Morning. A lot of the celebrity homes here were purchased by individuals or companies, and then they do rent them out as celebrity homes. Like Frank Sinatra's Twin Palms home is a celebrity home rental. I don't know if it's on Airbnb or if it's just through the company or the individual who owns it. Okay, so this home was owned by Frederick Lowe, musical composer. And he's even got his own star right here in front of his house. Isn't that cool? I've been to his gravesite before. He's very close to Frank Sinatra. Paint Your Wagon, Camelot, Gigi, My Fair Lady, Brigadoon. If you're a baby boomer, those names probably all sound familiar to you. If not, you might not have a clue about those musicals. They were very, very popular back in the day, and he lived back here. He lived here back in at least 60s and 70s. I don't know if he lived here before that. So that's pretty cool that he has his own star right in front of his house. I love that. I don't think that star was here the last time I was here. I think there was a plaque, because I knew this was his home, but I didn't remember that he had a star in front of his house. That's awesome. I think there's another plaque down here too. One, maybe even two plaques. I'll show you if they're still here. It's a pretty and simple mid-century modern home with a nice circular driveway. Oh, it looks like it has an interesting sculpture in the front too. Look at this interesting tree here. I don't know what this is called. I don't see many of these here. I think the last time I saw one of these was at the Living Desert. If anyone knows what kind of tree that is, share with us in the comments. Now that sort of has the Hollywood Regency look to it. I don't know about that little dome on top, but yeah, it definitely has a Hollywood Regency look to it. Yeah, look at those grapefruit. Okay, so the home straight ahead was a famous designer. He designed the logos for some of the biggest brands in the world. And let's see if he still has a plaque out in front. Yeah, I think I see it there. He's not famous like a movie star famous, but everyone knows his work for sure. So he has a mid-century modern, beautiful mid-century modern home. But yeah, so here's his home. It's on the National Register of Historic Places, and this is the Lowe House. Oh, I didn't realize it was designed by Albert Frey, another one of the most famous mid-century modern architects here. I think it was Raymond Lowe. It doesn't even say. It was built in 1946. Oh, there it is, Raymond Lowe, yeah. Designed by architect Albert Frey for famed industrial designer Raymond Lowe. The house embodies the distinctive characteristics of the residential architecture associated with the modern movement as interpreted by Frey for the desert environment of the Coachella Valley. Do you remember which logos he designed? He designed Coca-Cola, right?
Hundreds.
Yeah, TWA, Pan Am, just all the famous...
Strike.
Lucky Strike? All the famous logos from back in the day. All right, so now I'm back to where I started with this Hollywood Regency home here. All right, so that was a nice walk, and let me know what you think of this neighborhood in the comments, and I'll hope to see you all again on the next walk.